Go ahead of the fire trucks. You can see my truck. Try to get up closer along the fence. Like try to park off the road somewhere because the fire truck's got to turn around and get up there.
Forest looks exhausted.
And so the first copper just took it off. Hell! Yeah, it's just one of the bets. I'll put on the board.
That's what I told him. I told him they do that. Yeah, he's already here, but I told him.
I can't even tell you how many times I asked him about and they wouldn't listen.
You know, I think it's just
and then I was like, okay, who's in charge? And they gave me the one guy that has a horse experience. What's happened?
Veterinarian, a private veterinarian, a large animal veterinarian right now. So they're assessing him even further as we're getting the equipment ready for a short hop airlift up into the corral where he
Any broken legs? Is the horse this exhausted? What do you think?
Probably just exhausted, but nothing broken at this moment, so everything looks for now good. So we're hoping for a great outcome out of this.
What's the ETA of the
helicopter's already been notified. The vet's going to start tranking him as soon as it's inbound, because once we sedate, we already have the harness on him. It's going to take literally seconds so that we can just get him up and over, and then the vet will reevaluate him once he lands back in its point of where he came from.
Do you know the type of horse, a year, age, or all that?
Unfortunately, I don't. I was called early this morning just to come out with the equipment, and this is what we do. We're with Animal Services, so we just supply the apparatus. Luckily, we've trained with all these firefighters and in the past for large animal rescues, so this is going to be a very seamless operation.
That's what I was going to ask. It looks like a lot of response here. Is this a challenging rescue to do? Or?
It's very challenging because of the location. We haven't had anything this difficult, because usually we can get them up with a tripod or we can glide them up with a special large animal glide. But because of the terrain and the difficulty and the possibility of him tumbling even further, ideally it'd be nice if he was down this location, because then we could just get him up. But unfortunately, he's midway between bad and terrible. So we're going to do everything we can to get him up and airlift him. Like I said, it's going to be a short hop. It should be pretty quick and pretty seamless.
Where are you taking the horse?
He's going to go back to where he belongs.
Up above.
Is he in any pain that you can tell?
I'm not a vet, so I can't tell, but he looks very calm for this kind of situation. He's probably, or she, his name is Buddy. Not sure if it's male or female, but is very calm at this point, so I'm pretty sure it's exhaustion.
And then do you know how the horse fell?
No, I just got a call that he was down in the second level and fearing that he'd fall down 2 more levels down the hillside, so we decided to just activate right away with the fire department. They already were here on scene. Like I said, we've trained with them on several of these type of operations, so we all know each other and we all know what we do, and it's just going to be a very smooth operation.
We don't want to delay you. Can you give us your full name? Sorry, your last name.
Sure, Armando Navarrete, Navarrete, LA Animal Services Smart Team leader.
Okay, and how many of you guys are here?
I've got 3, 4, 5 people of my people here. That's what we usually use, a small unit, but we're very precise in what we do. We train for this all the time, so we know what we're up against.
Okay, all right,
Excellent.
Go get Buddy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Middle for you there.
Yep.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Eric, ERIK, Scott, Captain, Los Angeles Fire Department. At 6:41 this morning, the Los Angeles Fire Department responded to the 11,300 block of Oro Vista Avenue in Sunland for a possible horse rescue. When firefighters arrived on scene, there already was an owner with a horse, about an 800-pound horse, that has fallen on its side and was unable to get up since possibly 3 a.m. So when firefighters got here just after 6 o'clock this morning, they've been working to try to get it in a position where it could get its hind legs underneath, and multiple firefighters, upwards of 15 at some times, were even pushing to try to help that horse to get on their feet, but it's just too exhausted and unknown if it's injured. It's certainly unable to get up. Subsequently, it's now fallen or slid down a 45-degree embankment about 30 feet down to where the horse currently is. So what we've done is we've called in waves of additional firefighters with specialized resources. We do have the SMART team on scene here with a veterinarian to have more definitive care if there are any injuries. And what the overall plan is at this point is we're having one of the LAFD helicopters come from Van Nuys. We work to remove its water dropping tank from underneath so we can have access to an area where we'll be able to connect and put a specialized harness around the horse, and to be able to, after it's sedated, lift the horse up above to the corrals where it is a less precarious environment to work on the horse. And so that's what we're waiting to do at this point.
You know how it fell? How the horse fell?
The specifics we don't know. The fire department came on scene at 6:41 this morning. The owner was already there. There's a fence up above, and it had fallen down, taking out a portion of the fence. Just some minor scratches and cuts is what you can see at this point. Nothing significant. However, it's obvious that the horse is unable to get up, even with an abundance of people assisting and pushing. And so we don't know the extent of the injuries until the veterinarian, really the subject matter expert, is able to look at the horse carefully. They are on scene right now performing that, and the plan is to sedate the horse so it's comfortable. It's more of a safe operation, and our helicopters are arriving right now to be able to assist with that horse.
Okay, so give us the update. What occurred?
Well, fortunately, we had a successful rescue of that horse here. LAFD air operations and our urban search and rescue technical. Let me do that again. Fortunately, we had a successful hoist of that hoist. Fortunately, we had a successful hoist of that horse into this area where he is now. And Sonny's a 30-year-old male, about 1,000 pounds. What had happened is we had to utilize our helicopters to come in, and they did a helicopter hoist with a harness around Sonny, was able to lift him up carefully, and now bringing him to a safer, quieter area where we have veterinarian care taking place. They're going to start an IV in Sonny's neck to give him some fluids, some electrolytes, and then to get some further assessment as to what potential injuries he may have.
You have an update how he's caught in the fence. Tell me he has a neck injury. Tell me what the cause of what that was and how they initially found him.
Well, it's been determined when the homeowners came out this morning, they saw Sonny in the corral area near piping just like this, and his head was actually caught for some reason and a hoof. And again, he's a 30-year-old horse, and then he had fallen down and he couldn't get up. Well, subsequently, he ended up sliding down the hill a little further to the chain link area, which is where the actual rescue has been taking place for hours. So once we had firefighters try twice, about 15, to push him and carefully get him up to the feet, that didn't prove to be successful due to the absolute exhaustion of Sonny, and that's when it was determined we're going to go ahead and bring in our air power. We took a specialized helicopter from Van Nuys, removed the water dropping tank, exposed a very big hook area that we could put on a specialized harness and hoist, and that's when we hovered about 100 feet over Sonny. We're able to carefully put the hoist around him after he was sedated, lifted him up, and here he is lying.
Tell me what the injuries that you see.
Can't speculate; it's being determined.
But there is some neck injuries.
Well, there were some small cuts that we saw on Sonny. Nothing too significant. Certainly, he has been out here for a while. Possibly or likely dehydrated, certainly exhausted. The extent of the injuries are unknown, and that's exactly why we brought him to the safe location where we have the true professionals, veterinarian care, and the great smart team out here to be able to determine what other needs to happen.
I see some smiles on the owners. Successful with the fire department, all above. Everybody did a good job.
Yeah, fortunately, this proved to be very successful. We're here to protect life and property, and when we have a life of a horse that is in need and it was stuck 30 feet down a hill, injured, dehydrated, we're going to do what we can to assist that life and to get the best definitive care, and so far it's proven very successful.
This is what you guys train for. You have the animal rescue, they co-train with you guys at times for something like this.
Correct. Our air operations folks are the best of the best. The pilots and the HELTAC crew that helps work around them. Also our urban search and rescue folks that come out to really deal with any of the specialized type of rescue. They're the best of the best. And they're out here happy to help. And we still have plenty of resources that are running the regular 911 calls in the area. And now we've been able to release waves of firefighters to get back out into the field.
Okay, good enough, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Armando Navarrete, Navarrete. I'm with LA Animal Services. The division is Specialized Mobile Animal Rescue Team, SMART. And we were called out for assistance with the horse that had tumbled down about maybe 50 feet. He was down at the time we got here. We opted to do an airlift with the fire department, LA City Fire Department, which we train with on a regular basis for scenarios just like this. At the time we got here, the horse was stable, but we didn't have a vet on scene yet, so we weren't able to tell if there was anything broken, if there was anything major. Once the vet got here and assessed him, he determined there was dehydration and probably exhaustion. Nothing appeared broken, so we went ahead with the order to get the helicopters ready to do a short hop, we call it, a lift that was only about maybe less than 100 feet, and also to start applying the Anderson sling large animal rescue harness, which is made so that we can lift the animal anywhere between 1,000 and 2,000 pounds up in the air and then safely put them where we need to put them. At this moment, the vet has just assessed them, and he's now putting a catheter in him, and he seems to be stable still. We're just going to keep him down for a minute and let him get up on his own. That way it's less stress on the animal and it's a better outcome of success and safe if he just gets up on his own.
Okay. And how long does a horse usually stay unconscious when you guys tranquilize?
It depends on the veterinarian and how much they use to sedate. It depends on sedation. So in this case, it was a mild sedation because it was a short hop. It wasn't something that was going to be a long flight. Also because he was dehydrated, I'm sure the vet wanted to take that into consideration, not over sedate. We ultimately want them to get up on their own. So that's why the sedation is light, just to keep them stable during flight so they don't freak out. And then also, once they get them down, they can start either reversing it or starting to do what they're doing now, which is administering fluids.
Okay. Is there anything that you can give as far as tips for horse owners so that this doesn't happen again? Is there something maybe you saw that went wrong on the property, or it's just kind of horse got curious and...
Like with any pet ownership, we like to stress to pet owners that be aware of the surroundings the animal is kept in. Keep an eye and do regular routines on checking the perimeter, the fencing, the confinement, because animals are animals. They're going to get curious and try to do something that they think is adventurous, but to us is dangerous. In this case, we just ask that owners of all animals, whether it be large or small, call us immediately, because we'd rather be on scene right away to start the process of rescue versus coming in after the fact and saying now we have a more difficult situation because the owners try to do their best they could. There's no fee. The fire department doesn't charge, nor does LA Animal Services. So the service is ultimately no charge. So you should call us right away so we can get on scene. We usually take anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes. We have a lot of vehicles, a lot of personnel spread out throughout the city, so we can respond fast. As I said, we also train with the fire department on a regular basis so that we can do these operations seamless.
Okay, great. I appreciate it.
Hey, no problem.